Episode 43, The Date. Jessa had no idea that Jeff was rich, so Diane stopped paying attention to her and started to fix her makeup.
Diane, this is your big chance to get James to admit his feelings. Hurry up and finish making yourself look pretty. If you get any prettier, I'll be jealous.
Jessa teased.
I know. I need to make the most of this opportunity.
Diane said, applying mascara at her eyelashes.
Does she think I'd go to this much trouble for James?
She thought.
No, I'm trying to attract Jeff, not James.
Jessa had no idea what Diane was thinking.
It's still early, so let's take a stroll in the mall.
Jessa took Diane's arm and went to pull her into the shopping mall.
No, Jeff will be here soon. It would be rude to not be here when he arrives.
Diane refused to move. Meeting up with Jeff was the most important thing she had to do. Nothing else mattered.
Why do you care so much about a loser like him?
Jessa pouted. 20 minutes later, Jeff stepped out of the taxi, and his eyes lit up when he saw two beautiful women walking toward him. Diane was very pretty. She was tall and curvy, with long wavy hair. Her makeup highlighted her beautiful face, and the split in her long skirt provided flashes of her legs as she walked. She was every man's fantasy.
You're late.
Jessa slapped Jeff's shoulder.
And you made us wait for you. Who do you think you are?
Jessa, stop it.
Diane stuck up for him.
The university isn't that close, and 20 minutes isn't long at all.
She turned to Jeff.
Sorry, you know how impatient my cousin can be.
Jessa felt uncomfortable.
Why is my cousin saying that about me?
She thought.
He's just a loser. Why is she taking his side?
But then she remembered that her cousin was tricking Jeff into liking her, and Jessa's resentment faded as she understood.
Jeff, what happened to the Mercedes? Why did you come in a taxi?
Jessa crossed her arms as she smirked at Jeff. After what had happened the previous day, Jeff didn't want to hide his identity anymore. Diane started to panic.
Would Jeff admit who he was? It's over.
She thought.
Jessa is going to find out.
Did you send the Mercedes to the garage for repairs?
Jessa sneered.
It was hard to tell when this loser was lying. He was just too good at it. Stop pretending. Rachel already told me the car isn't yours. You were just trying to play the big man that day.
Oh.
Jeff said, annoyed at Jessa's attitude.
Then tell me, if that wasn't my car, then why didn't I make RJ pay for the damage? I'm just a poor loser, remember? I can't afford that much money.
Jessa didn't have an answer for that. She blushed as she tried to think of an explanation.
You just wanted to act tough in front of us.
Jessa said in exasperation.
Besides, you're so poor that it still doesn't make a difference how much it costs. Even if it was only $100, you still couldn't pay it back.
Tired of arguing, she didn't even give him a chance to respond. She pushed him and kicked him a few times.
Don't you dare talk back to me.
Jessa's kicks didn't hurt, so Jeff couldn't be bothered to fight with her.
Diane, be careful.
Jessa said.
This loser looks honest, but he's a schemer.
It's fine. Don't worry about us.
Diane said.
Jessa, don't you have an appointment to get to?
She winked. They had agreed that after Jeff arrived, Jessa would leave and call James asking him to come. When he saw Jeff, he would be overcome with jealousy. Diane had been forced to go along with the plan to prevent Jessa from asking questions. Simply dating Jeff without agreeing to have James appear would have been too suspicious. Of course, she couldn't let James sabotage her date with Jeff. So she needed to find a secluded place where James wouldn't find her, and then she would think of a way to explain it to Jessa later. Diane had her plan, and she would be careful not to make any mistakes.
Oh, that's right. I promised my best friend I'd go to the gym with her.
Jessa rolled her eyes and looked at Jeff slyly.
Jeff, stay here and keep my cousin company.
Jessa smirked. When she brought James to the restaurant, Jeff would be embarrassed, and James might even hit him. She enjoyed tormenting Jeff.
Jeff, you are a loser.
She thought.
You're so annoying. Well, just wait and see what happens. Do you think my cousin cares about you?
She smiled when she thought about how Jeff had no idea what was going on and didn't know he might get beaten up later. Leaving them to it, Jessa walked away. After a few minutes, she turned around and saw Diane holding Jeff's arm as they walked toward a nearby restaurant.
Diane, what the heck?
Jessa mumbled to herself.
It's just an act. You don't need to touch him. Is he taking advantage of you?
She took out her cell phone and dialed.
James, are you busy? No, then can you come to this Central Plaza? I really need a ride. Okay, I'll be waiting here. Hurry.
When she ended the call, she was quite pleased with herself for being so smart. If she had simply said that Diane was dating a loser, James would probably have seen through it. But if she could arrange for James to bump into Diane on a date with a loser, he would get jealous. Half an hour later, an Audi 5 pulled into the Central Plaza. A man with a neat buzz cut and a pair of dark glasses stepped out of the car.
James, you came.
Jessa walked over, smiling at him. She had met him a few times through Diane, so she knew him reasonably well. He didn't seem very intelligent, which is why Jessa thought their trick might work. Yeah, I've been busy with work for the past few days and haven't had time to visit your cousin. How is she? He asked, with a faint smile.
Every time we meet, you always ask about my cousin. It's enough to make a girl jealous.
She teased him.
Diane has been quite busy recently, but I don't know what exactly she's been up to.
Diane was intentionally vague. The less she explained, the more curious he would become, and then he would become anxious. That way, when he discovered Diane on a date with Jeff, he would get worked up. Oh! Sure enough, he was already suspicious. When he had first seen Diane on a blind date, he had been deeply attracted to her. He had believed that whoever admitted to being in love first would be in a weaker position within the relationship, so he had been waiting for Diane to say she loved him, but he hadn't expected her to behave in the same way. And now she seemed to have lost interest. Where do you want me to take you? He asked Jessa.
Well, it's already noon and I haven't eaten yet, so how about I treat you to lunch in exchange for you giving me a ride?
Jessa asked, her tone a little weird. James's expression suggested that there was something on his mind. James didn't object, seeing it as an opportunity to get more information about Diane. Laughing and talking with James, Jessa walked toward the restaurant where Diane and Jeff were having lunch. But when they went in, she couldn't see her cousin anywhere.
Let's go somewhere else.
She said.
The service here is terrible.
She pulled James back outside as she wondered.
What had gone wrong? Diane was supposed to be in this restaurant, so where was she now? Had she changed her mind?
She couldn't call Diane, so she texted her instead, but still received no reply. So she had no choice but to lead James around the mall, searching each restaurant for her cousin. Jessa, where do you want to eat? James asked with resentment. He was getting annoyed at being dragged around. Jessa was still trying to work out what to do when she spotted Jeff and Diane through a window of a restaurant.
This place looks pretty good. Shall we eat here?
Jessa smiled. She needed to get him inside the restaurant to see her cousin and Jeff. It would be much more exciting for him to come face to face with them, rather than just seeing them through a window.
Oh, my stomach hurts and I have to go to the toilet.
Jessa said, clutching at her stomach as if she was in pain.
James, you go on ahead and order for us.
James didn't say anything, but simply walked toward the restaurant. Jessa watched him enter, hiding in an inconspicuous place. She settled in to watch what happened. She was looking forward to seeing James get angry and confront Jeff.
Oh, Diane, you changed locations at the last minute.
Jessa muttered to herself.
I don't know why you didn't tell me, but I still managed to find you. So when you work things out with James, don't forget your little cousin. When you get your hands on his money, I'll be doing nice reward.